Hello everyone. Before we get started, please like and share this video. It really helps me out. Also, if you can, subscribe to my YouTube channel and make sure you cut on all notification bells so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. And one more thing, when you're watching my videos,
You better make sure you look behind you.
it was a very cold October evening as I was helping my uncle pack up his things as he was moving out of the farmhouse he lived in for about 25 years. He felt no need to stay here as he had too many bad memories and it was something he had to do. So Uncle Richard, if you mind me asking, why do you want to move? I got the impression that you love being a farmer and you love living out on the countryside. This move, it was so sudden. After he loaded a dresser inside of his truck, he closed the door in the back and took off his gloves and dusted his hands off. He looked at me and then he pointed towards the chair on the porch of his house that was now empty. Steven, let's have a seat over there and I'll tell you a little story. And maybe you can learn from what I'm about to share with you. I proceeded to walk in the direction he pointed to. I got on the porch and I sat down on the rocking chair. He sat down the other one across from me. He opened up a cooler and he had 2 beers, one for him and one for me. And then he proceeded to tell me why he's moving from this farm. This happened 25 years ago. Richard, who was younger then, was with his newlywed wife, Brooke, and they were expecting a kid. She was 4 months pregnant. He had lots of hopes and dreams. He knew that he could make good money as a farmer, and he was very excited and very optimistic about what the future holds for him and his wife and their unborn child. This place is so beautiful. I always loved the countryside. Richard, you really outdone yourself, Brooke told Richard. Oh, such kind words, Brooke. Thank you. And trust me, I'm doing this for all of us. We're going to create generational wealth with this farm. I'm going to buy some cattle and I'm going to make sure we have everything we need. I'm going to make good money off of this. We're going to be taken care of for life, for generations. So when our kid grows up and they have a family of their own, they can also share this wealth down with them as well. I know what I'm doing here. It's going to work, Brooke. It's going to work. I have faith in you. You got this, Richard. A month later, after they settled in, Richard began to purchase cattle. He purchased a bunch of cows, pigs, chickens, as well as sheep. Richard also purchased about $10,000 worth of seeds to grow vegetables and harvest and anything he could possibly grow. But he noticed that his farm was not doing too well. The crops that he was growing would die, and he would always have pest control problems that would eat away at the plants and the vegetables that he tries to grow. It got to the point that Richard was losing the money that he invested on this farm, and it was really putting a strain on not just him emotionally, but on the marriage as well. One evening, Richard was sitting out on the porch, talking to himself, pleading with anyone that was listening, any higher power, to help him. To any higher power out there, if anyone's listening, please just help me have a green thumb so I can grow vegetables, so I can have a successful cattle. I need the money. Don't do this. Don't let my dreams just go to smoke. Someone out there, please just help me. I'm begging you. The next morning, as Richard was eating his breakfast that Brooke made for him, there was a knock at the door. Oh, I get it, Richard. You just finished your food, hon. When Brooke opened the door, it gave way to a man who was dressed all in white. A white suit, white shoes, and a white fedora hat. The man looked like he could be no older than about 70 years old. Hello. Do you mind if I can speak to your husband? The man asked. Brooke turned and called out for Richard. Richard, there's someone here who wants to talk to you. I'm here, Brooke. What's happening? Who's this guy? I have no idea. He just said that he needed to talk to you. Okay. Alright, you go ahead and, finish eating your food. I'll take it from here. Richard walked the guy outside the porch, and he told him that he's welcome to sit down in a rocking chair. Richard sat down in the rocking chair that was across from him, and then Richard asked, how can I help you? Who are you? Richard asked. The man responded, no, the question is, Mr. Richard, is how can I help you? I'm seeing that your farm is not doing too well. Your cattle is not doing too well. You lost a few cows, they suddenly passed away. Your crops aren't doing too well. I can help you be a really successful farmer if you just make a little deal with me. Who the hell are you? And look, how did you know my name? And I'm not interested in anything you're trying to sell me. You can get off my property right now. The elderly man turned towards the field of the dying crops that Richard had. His eyes glowed green, and then a few crops grew. Richard was in disbelief as he ran, and he saw corns and a bunch of other vegetables that grown that looked healthy and ripe for the picking. The elderly man smiled at Richard as he was in disbelief. See, I told you I can help. Now, how about we start off with a deal? It's a very, very small deal. Trust me, you're actually getting a better deal on your end than I am. Okay, what's the deal? You have to sacrifice 7 years of your life, meaning that you'll die 7 years early. And once you die, I take your spirit and it becomes part of me. This is a very good deal. You'll have generational wealth for you and that unborn child, and for your wife, and for the child's child once your child grows up and becomes an adult. At first, Richard was hesitant to make that deal, but then the elderly man responded by telling him, so Richard, what's it gonna be? You either gonna fail as a farmer and your wife could leave you and you'll end up homeless, or I just take 7 years away from your life. Which one is it gonna be? Fine, I'll take the deal. The old man gestured for Richard to come towards him, and when he did, the old man put his hands on Richard's head, and his eyes glowed red. Nothing didn't really happen, or Richard didn't feel anything different. After that, Richard turned around to thank the man, but he already was gone. He just vanished. He didn't walk off the property. He just blinked his eyes and the old man just disappeared. Richard walked back into the house, and he went back into the kitchen. Brooke was washing the dishes, unaware of what just happened. Brooke turned to Richard and asked him, so, what did that guy want? Oh, he was just another salesman. I turned him down. It's nothing to worry about. Richard lied. He didn't want to tell Brooke about the deal he made because he knew she would be opposed to what he'd done. Afterwards, about a couple of days later, Richard noticed a huge change in his farming. Crops began to grow exponential. He was able to make more money from cattle, and he was making tons of money, more than he ever thought that he would make. His wife was very happy. They were able to afford more things. 6 months later, Brooke gave birth to a baby girl. He was over the moon. He showered the baby girl with gifts and everything she needed. The family was enjoying a very good life. That was until a couple of months later, when Richard and Brooke's baby girl was 3 months old. There was a knock at the door. It was around 6 o'clock in the evening. Richard got up and went to answer the door, and when he opened the door, he was shocked to see someone, a familiar face. The man dressed up in white. Brooke came at the door too, holding their 3-month-old daughter. Aren't you the guy that was here about, 7 months ago, trying to sell something? I'm confused. Why? No disrespect, but just curious, Why are you back? Are you got something else you want to try to sell to us? I promise you, we're really not interested, Brooke said, confused. And then the elderly man frowned. He had this look to him that made Richard and Brooke feel a little bit uncomfortable. Seems like your crops are doing very well. You made a whole lot of money, Mr. Richard. Seems like our deal paid off very well. Well, that's what I thought. But then again, taking 7 years of your life is not going to be good enough. No, I need more. If you're going to continue to have this kind of success, you have to sacrifice something. Wait, 7 years of your life? Wait a minute, what's going on? Richard, talk to me. What did you promise this guy? Okay, you know how, we were having trouble growing crops and selling cattle? I made a deal with this man that if he takes 7 years of my life, we'll be able to grow crops and grow lovely plants and vegetables that we can sell and also keep for ourselves. I mean, we got a growing daughter. I was doing it for us. You told me that the reason this was happening because you found a secret to making these plants grow to create more profit. You just sacrificed 7 years of your life to do this? And you didn't tell me? You lied to me? You deceived me? I'm so sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but 7 years of your life, Richard's not gonna be enough. But I think that newborn baby of yours will pay the debt perfectly fine. I want that child. She belongs to me now. Wait, no, you're not taking my child. I'm not gonna let that happen. Look, I'll explain all this later, Brooke. You need to leave right now. This man's coming after our daughter now. Before Brooke had the time to even run into the house, the old man somehow teleported right in front of her, blocking her. And then he grabbed her neck and began to suck the life out of her to the point Brooke just disintegrated. He catched the child as Richard was trying to run to stop him, and then the man just disappeared. Richard was in shock. He couldn't believe what just happened as he looked down on the ground to see ashes that was left from Brooke, his wife. And as this man took his daughter, he was angry. He yelled. He was wondering how did he let this happen. He thought that he should have just moved and got a normal job and maybe none of this would never happen. He was trying to fulfill a dream that was dumb and that was so stupid. And now his wife and his daughter are gone. Through the years, Richard didn't care about the crops or the animals and none of that. He sold the animals off and then he let his crop all die. He spent his days drinking and drinking until he realized that 20 years had passed, and he finally decided 5 years later to sell the house and to move out, and that's where we're at right now. Now you see why, Steven, I'm selling this place. Just too many bad memories. If my daughter was still here, she would have been 26 years old. I would have passed this house down to her. Every day it hurts like hell, not having my wife and not having my daughter with me. That's why I gotta get rid of this house. I can't live here anymore. The only advice I'll give to you, if you ever want to get into farming, don't accept a deal from the man dressed up in white, because he's gonna trick you. He's a trickster. I lost my wife and daughter. Don't make my mistake. Be better than me, Steven, please. I looked at my uncle, and I felt so sorry for him. He just wanted to grow crops and have a successful business, but it failed at the end. After he got done telling me this, I helped him move the rest of the stuff out of the house onto his truck, and then afterwards, we drove off. As we were driving off, I looked in the back at the house, the farm that my uncle lived in for the last 25 years, and I noticed I saw someone waving at me. It was an older man, and he was dressed up all in white.